Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a video on New World's top 10 most crucial things that you need to do at launch, and these are going to be covering some things that you need to pick up along the way, as well as some certain things you want to gather to make your life easier, and some little things that you want to be leveling up as you're going along. When you get to certain points in the quest, you'll need these, so I'm kind of just going to go over like all of the things that you should basically do when you are starting out. Now, if you are playing New World for the first time at launch, this probably isn't the video for you, because this is going to be for those people who kind of want to fine-tune their start. Maybe by now, a few of you, like myself, have done the beginning of the game multiple times, meaning that they kind of want to fine-tune it a little bit. So this video is kind of going to go over things to do at launch that are going to fine-tune your experience. But if you are playing this for the first time, I would strongly recommend, even if you want to watch this video and get a few tips, that you really do take your time and explore the game, because there's a lot of beauty and a lot of fun experiences to be had within the world of Eternum. And without further ado, we're going to jump into the first one here, and this is going to be to gather all the herbs you see. They drop hyssop, and hyssop plus 1 water, and water is gathered from rivers, lakes, etc., equals a health potion. So it means that you can very quickly get a lot of health potions, which will get you through a lot of the early game content very, very easily. So that's going to be super, super useful. Second tip here is going to be to get iron tools ASAP, as it will speed up your gathering speed a huge amount. Now, the total cost for this is 38 iron ingots, which translates as 152 iron ore. You also need 10 timber or 40 green wood, and 6 coarse leather, which will be 24 raw hide. And that will get you the pickaxe, the logging axe, the sickle, and the knife there as well, so you can get all of those tools ready to get harvesting with. Now, once you get to a certain point in the main quest, it will require you to collect petal cap, rivercress, and water. In order to do this, you must be level 30 in gathering on the harvesting section, so that you can actually gather these materials. What the quest is called is Weakness of Ego, and it asks you to get the materials for these potions and then create 3 corruption tinctures. Now, you can either get 3 of each of the ingredients, as I mentioned before, and also get 3 corruption tinctures, or you can just go ahead and take the ingredients with you. Once you accept the quest, it should automatically take you onto the second part, because you will already have those ingredients in your inventory, and then you will just go on to the second part, which will ask you to craft them. What you can do there is do this at your camp very close by to the NPC that gives you the quest, and remember, this can be done from a level 1 camp as well, so it's absolutely no issue to do. You just need to have 5 wood and 1 flint on you to be able to craft that camp. Then you can go ahead and hand that quest in straight away, but 30 harvesting is required in order to get the petal cap and the rivercress, so make sure you've got that early doors. Now, as a side note, following on from this, you'll also need level 10 mining just on a couple of quests after this, following on from the main story, which will allow you to gather 20 silver ore and in turn make 5 silver ingots, which will be used to craft the Azov staff when you get there in the quest Argent and Aether. Number 4 here is going to be to make sure that you run to all the spirit shrines or fast travel points that you see across the world of Eternum. They are notified by the big blue beam of light which comes out the top of them, or indeed they will be marked on a map if you are using an external map like I've gone over in previous videos. This is going to be super, super important, because even if you don't need to be fast traveling to them now, later on in the game there is multiple reasons why you'll be wanting to go back to certain parts, even of the starting zones. For example, corruption breaches, you'll want to go for world events if that becomes a thing later on, which a lot of people are expecting it to become. Also, world bosses are something people have talked about, so you want to be able to get around there. On top of that, you've got PvP and PvE faction missions, which all require you to go around the zones. You've also then got different quests that will ask you to run back basically through each of these zones in order to complete them, and that'll all be really, really useful and much more streamlined if you have actually gathered the fast travel points, so make sure you get them as you come across them. Also, with the fast traveling, make sure that you dump everything in your stash before you fast travel, particularly if you're doing it from a settlement. Anything you absolutely do not need, please take out of your inventory. It will reduce your travel cost by a significant amount. Your travel cost is based upon how far you are traveling and the weight of your character. Now, this does not count armor weight, so it doesn't matter if you're heavy or light armor. It is just the weight that you have carried in your bag and satchel. So make sure that you get as little weight as possible when you are going to fast travel using Azoth, as it will cost you a significantly less amount. Number 5 here is going to be that making gold is a huge benefit in New World, and having that financial stability is going to be something which is really, really good. And there are lots of ways that you can do this, but one of the best ways that will work for any player in New World, whether you're playing solo, with a few friends, or in a full company or two, is going to be consumables. The reason for that obviously is because once they're used, and and there's always going to be people wanting to get them for giving that increase to stats, to skills, getting health potions, regen potions, mana potions, whatever the case may be. These are always going to sell really, really well. Now, obviously, depending on where your server is and at the time that you're watching this video, always try and get a tier or two above whatever the general consensus is. So if most people, you know, it's the first week or two, getting those tier 3 and 4 potions are going to sell better. And then obviously after that, it's going to be the tier 4 and 5. And tier 4 and 5 are always going to sell well in foods and consumables and potions because they're pretty much going to be the max end game stuff that people are gunning for. So you're certainly going to be able to make some money off of those definitely very easily. One thing to bear in mind is potions and late level foods can kind of have some ingredients in that are hard to find. Usually these are gathered through other things like gathering herbs. You might get the off chance to get some pepper and things like that. So it will just be a case of gathering and looting the containers. But once you do get them, they are going to be really, really good money. And particularly early on to make the tier 3 ones, it's not that difficult to find the ingredients and they sell for a decent amount of profit, or at least they did in the open beta. So certainly worth trying. Number 6 here is that food is really, really important in New World. Obviously it gives you the buff to heal HP for 20 minutes after eating, but on top of that, it gives you an instant HP regen when you're not hit in battle. So what this is going to mean is that you're going to want to stockpile a lot of food. One thing you can do is that every settlement has honey inside it. So make sure you take this honey and put it in your stash. It can be used as a secondary ingredient in tier 2 foods, which is really, really good. And also, if you are in Monarch's Bluff, Winswood, or First Light, each of these settlements has a cow in it, which means you can milk this cow in order to get milk. And that milk can be turned into a tier 1 food, which means you can style a ton of light rations or energizing light rations really early doors, which is fantastic for pretty much every player in the game. Now, number 7 here is going to be to make sure that you are doing PvP faction quests in your own territory as well as in enemy territories, especially if your company owns a settlement. Now, as much as enemy territories is good for reducing their influence and potentially throwing something into war, and obviously if your company is trying to do this, you should partake, but generally you want to be defending the territories you own because they give global buffs to everybody in that faction, and obviously if it's your company specifically, you get even more buffs from that. But these buffs are things like Azoth fast travel costs reduced, you can transfer things between storage, and this is going to be really, really helpful in all aspects of the game. Number 8 is going to be that if you want to power level skills, then there are some really, really good guides that you can use in order to help you do this. Personally, I really like the Tradesman Bible by Tesh and his really, really skilled team there. They've made a great job of doing lots and lots of different things about basically everything crafting, gathering, refining, all of that stuff they've covered in that post there. I will leave this website linked in the description below so you guys can check it out. I'm not affiliated with it, but it's a very, very useful resource, and basically they make really, really good guides on how and where the distribution of materials are, how you can get them, you know, where the best place to go for each resources, and you can work this all out for your own routes as well by downloading a file and such. So it's really, really good. There is obviously guides and stuff on the page on how to do it, and they also post a ton of stuff to Reddit. The user Jason Julius is one of the creators of the Tradesman Bible. He does a fantastic job of making some infographics for Reddit as well. These are things on like leveling guides, quick leveling guides, how each material works and such. So I will leave his newest Reddit post on Arcana leveling linked in the description below as well. Really, really good job that he does. So I'd certainly recommend checking that out as well, and checking out the Tradesman Bible if you're interested in power leveling your skills. Now, number 9 is to remember that each attribute helps to improve certain gathering skills. So for example, strength is increased mining, dexterity is skinning, intelligence is harvesting, focus is fishing, and constitution is logging. Now, whichever your main attribute is, it would be wise to level the related gathering skill, as it will be way easier for you to level this up and will give you some great extra XP from gathering the materials, and then either selling it or choosing to refine them and craft them and selling it at any point after that will get you XP and gold for selling it, or, you know, whatever you want to do with it after that. Using it will get you, you know, higher damage or whatever the case may be, and that's a really, really good thing way to kind of double or triple your XP and either get some gold or get a useful thing that you need. And on top of that, these attribute bonuses mean that you'll be better at gathering the particular material that, you know, is kind of related to your skill than people who have leveled up the skill for the first 50-60 levels, because these attribute bonuses are really, really good. So certainly when you get to that level 50 threshold, or 50 point threshold I should say, in any attribute, whichever your main stat is. Certainly look which benefit it gives you and try and do a bit of gathering around that, as you'll be able to level it up very, very quickly. And the 10th and final thing here is going to be that if you want to get a cheeky boost from the start, then don't forget to make use of stat boost foods, luck boost foods, and skill boosting foods, as these can be made from level 50 cooking onwards, which is pretty quick to do if you go ahead and cook a lot of meals and things like that to be able to, you know, do the quest for the town board for one, and of course to be able to get yourself some food for questing and going out and doing missions and such. And it's really, really easy to get to level 50, and then you get those stat boosting foods, which are going to be super, super crucial. Now also make use of the weapon coatings for extra damage on the mobs early as well, and this is done in the Arcana station, and these are particularly good for DPS in expeditions, but please do be aware that if it stays the same as the beta, whenever you do actually switch weapons, the coating then disappears, so bear that in mind. You'll need to take a few with you, and whenever you do switch weapons, the coating disappears, so maybe just bear that in mind if you are trying to DPS. Could be really good for a tank if they're going to be using sword and shield the whole time. Could work really, really well for a little bit of extra damage output, particularly in Amrine and Starstone when people aren't as leveled up. That little bit of extra damage from a tank could go a long way to help them keep aggro and indeed help clear the expedition faster. Now I want to give a huge shout out to a user on Reddit called Larson on Twitch, and his Reddit post has some similar information to what's in this video, and some of the points I've kind of reworded and put in here because they were super, super crucial things. He's had a really, really good written guide on there, which I'm going to leave linked in the description of this video. I would highly encourage you guys to go over and have a look at his post. It's all in written format, and he's done a superb job of doing this all the way through from level 1 to 60 of things you could do to level up. So I'm going to leave his Reddit post and his YouTube channel linked in the description below, so if you want to go and check him out, he does some super awesome informative leveling tips and leveling guides, quick leveling guides, that sort of thing. So if that's your sort of thing in New World, then certainly check out his YouTube channel as well. Other than that, like I said, I will leave the Tradesman Bible linked below as well. A big shout out to Tesh and his team there. Fantastic resource, that will be linked below too. Other than that, if you guys have enjoyed today's video, please do leave me a like on the video, as it really, really does help me out. If you are new here to the channel, we'd love to have you as part of the channel community. I'm posting daily New World content, news updates, guides, all that kind of good stuff, so make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any of that. If you would like to join the Discord community, we're nearly at 900 people, pushing ever closer to that 1,000. It'd be really cool to get 1,000 in there just before launch. So if you'd like to join the community there, we're talking all things New World, theory crafting, PvP, PvE, crafting, gathering, all sorts. So if you want to get involved there, please head over and join the link through the description or in the comments below. And if you would like to support me directly here as a content creator on YouTube, you can join my membership program, which is through the join button underneath today's video. If you click on that, it'll show you the options we have available for you, and you can join that if you would wish to. Other than that, as always guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. Take care and peace.